What's up, guys? Nethervvoid here with more Civilization 5 Beyond Earth, episode 15. And as has happened in the past, I lost the audio for this frickin' video. So I'm having to do this again instead of record another episode, which would have been obviously way better. So the crap part really is also that I lost the audio and really one of the best parts of the series so far, war with this purple guy. But I wanted to say this purple guy because, like other reviewers have mentioned, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, the different factions are really kind of generic. Since they're like conglomerates and different, companies and everything, they don't really, they don't feel like they have a personality to me. So again, the purple is really the defining thing about who I'm attacking. It's not a name, it's not a people, it's not any of that. It's the color, the guy's color is purple. That's about it. So it kind of is what it is, and that's what you get in this kind of futuristic game, I guess. I would have really loved it if they just stuck with nations. That would have been fine with me. Maybe they don't feel like that's futuristic enough or something like that, but it would have been fine, I think. So Prophet's all fully healed now, the one that attacked this city in the first place. I moved that dude out because, well, miasma, and that guy's now going to sit in the miasma. But I'm about to attack this other city anyway, probably next turn here, so one round in the miasma is not going to really do much damage there. So trade route, this is pretty normal. This is one of my very few land traders that I had from the very beginning, and I have decided not to kill them off because why? Air intercepts. Somebody was saying you could see the air intercept icon like at the bottom of the air icon, which I can't see right now because I can't stop and actually look at it, but I'm sure it's there. So I'm positioning the carrier into a better position for air intercept. Also, somebody was saying, sorry, I don't remember everybody's logins and stuff, their YouTube names, I'm sorry about that, but they were saying how planes will really screw up your ships, and so it's good to have like air interceptors in the area just to make sure that the enemy air force doesn't take out your boats. So it looks like I think I was going for more science right there. That's a profit, I believe. Just gonna land this profit right here, some titanium. I didn't even notice that before. Again, like somebody else was saying, it's easier to see the errors when you're not playing yourself, which is totally true. And now every time I do this thing where I re-record the audio, I can notice a lot more things, because like you can see, I'm moving ships and stuff, and I'm moving the map around to keep working the game. But when I'm watching this, just recording audio, I can look all over the place. I'm looking at, like, I can see the healing taking effect there. I'm noticing different things on the map and stuff. So I intercepted their tac jet. That's, again, a big reason why you're going to want to take those dudes out. Now, another thing somebody was saying, and this is really dumb, is that every unit seems to have an air defense ability, which is retarded because it kind of defeats the purpose of air. The whole point of air is to attack from a different angle, right? That the person cannot defend from, and therefore you get kind of quote-unquote free damage on the guy. That's why air is so powerful in the real world, really, right? That's why the basic way that the U.S. fights wars is we go in, we bomb everything under the sun, all airway. We basically take over the skies by bombing airstrips and things like that, taking out communication and all that. And then we have free reign in the sky. We just bomb the hell out of you. And then we send the ground units in after pretty much everybody's dead. So that's because once you can bomb a tank, the tank is pointless. Like it was totally seen in the Iraqi wars, where we just took all their tanks out with air power, and their tanks were almost ineffectual. There were a few times where they did have a good, they were used to good effect, and that's because the Iraqi army had some of the best tanks, one of the best tank armies in the world, I think, at that time. And so, of course, no matter what you do, there's going to be some effect from those units. It's just that it was severely restricted due to the American air superiority. The A-10 was brought back into service during the Iraqi war. That was just about to be phased out, actually, as quote-unquote a plane we didn't need anymore, really. And then we noticed, hey, this tank is, we still have an anti-tank role for this thing, because we need to get in there tight and jump over a little dune, come up over a sand dune and then melt a tank, so it performed its role very well. So again, but that's air superiority. There's no way, what are those tanks going to do? They're dug in, they can't move, there's no effective way for them to fire back at us. If they had some SAM tanks, maybe, That could have been effective, especially against A10, except the A10 is just dip behind another dune, and you're going to lose your lock because that's how they flew those things. Those things fly so low to the ground. They're actually built to fly low to the ground so that they can get behind hills and things like that to kind of avoid. That's how they avoid radar, and that's how they avoid detection and avoid being locked and stuff like that. By the time they melted a tank, they're already gone. They're not sitting around waiting for a lock on them, right? They already knew what the tank was. They flew up over the dune. They put the 30 mil cannon right in the guy's face and melted it in half, and then just take off. They don't sit around and wait for the guy to get a lock on them. So, yeah, air superiority really, really lacking in this game. Again, it's kind of early in the game. I'm not sure if it's because, I don't know why they've toned down the air superiority, but it's kind of weird that they've done that because, again, it's not realistic. Secondly, I've really thought there would be more of a role for space in this game, because if it's going to be a futuristic game like this, where it's no holds barred war, space would take a much larger role in this whole thing. Like, they don't even have true orbitals, really. The orbitals don't traverse the map; they stay in one spot, which isn't bad, but it's like I don't feel like it's space, Not only that, but there are no space planes. Like, you should be able to launch, you should be able to have war, like, bring that war to space, right? I don't mean interplanetary, which would be cool, but, that might be a little bit outside of the feature set of this game, because that'd be kind of aggressive, kind of an aggressive feature set. But what you could do is, put orbitals up that could be orbital lasers and stuff that you could actually have air superiority with. Nobody could fire back at them when you shot at them. Like, a cruiser is not going to be firing back, or an infantry unit's not going to be firing back at a space-based laser. It's just not. They don't have the capability, right? So what they should have done is allowed you to launch like space planes to take out those orbitals, or to take out other space planes, or like the artillery in this game have the ability to take out orbitals. That's kind of cool. Just different stuff like that to really use the space layer. They don't really use it that much in this game. In fact, so far, I haven't really found a reason to launch any orbitals. There's been a couple of times like miasma removal, but that was just out of convenience. It wasn't really because it's like strategically a better move or something like that. It was really because I could clear the miasma faster by shooting up that orbital than taking my workers over there and removing it. Like, I don't know if it's 5 or 7 turns or something to remove miasma, but it takes a long time to remove like 5 miasma in a circle, right? It's just a lot easier to fire that orbital up there. But a lot of the other orbitals, in my opinion, really leave a lot to be desired, mainly because the range is so limited. Like, they're really almost, defensive? Is that what they're for? I mean, there's a couple things that you can build to increase the orbital firing range from a city, but in my opinion, if you're firing an orbital, you can put it in space wherever you want. We do that all the time. In fact, you can reposition satellites wherever you want. It's not even like they have to stay in the one spot you put them in. Like our spy satellites, they don't just sit in one spot all the time. So I'm sure some do, right? Like the ones we probably have one sitting over Moscow or something like that, because there's going to be a reason to take pictures in Moscow all the time. There's really no time where you're like, never mind, let's move this one. But there are other satellites. Again, anybody who has experience in this stuff, please pipe up, because I'm just shooting off of what I know, kind of a layman's knowledge of what I know. But and there goes my interceptor taking them out from the other carrier, so that's nice. But you can move those satellites around. You can make small adjustments to their orbit, and you can put them over a spot where you want them to be in. Now, if it's not geosynchronous, which is a harder orbit to achieve, get back to our example of the spy camera over Moscow, let's say, or anywhere, Washington D.C., that's fine, that's more agnostic, or I'm not really trying to pick out Russians or anything. Any major city, right? You have to go pretty far out of the proximity to Earth to get a geosynchronous orbit, right? But a lot of the orbits for spy satellites might have them, the ones that are moving around anyway, might have them traveling over that space 5 or 6 times in a day, right? And here I'm taking another city. That's awesome. Pretty sure anyway. Something's going on with my video here. It's really lagging behind. So the audio might be kind of messed up right here. Sorry about that. It's really not wanting to keep up at all. Yeah, this audio is gonna be way off. So I won't even talk about the game. You can just listen to me talk, and audio is gonna be what it's gonna be. There's really no reason for me to screw with this too much. In fact, let me try to fix the video a little bit, but it's gonna be way behind. And that's just kind of, it is what it is. Let me look at what time I'm at. Maybe I can. Again, Windows Movie Player just sucks. It never tells you like what time you're at. It kind of just is. So I'm gonna try to open this back up. I don't know what's going on with my playback here. It's like for some reason the video just kind of stopped. So again, I'm way behind. I'm not going to talk about the game. I'm going to talk about the game itself, but I'm not going to talk about what's going on in the game just because now I'm way off and I can't see where the heck. And in fact, I'm having a hard time getting back to the actual video of the game. Yeah, I'm already, that's past where I wanted to be. So anyway, like those orbitals, you can place them wherever you want, and I really feel like they missed an opportunity to have really add a great feature set to the game, something new above and beyond Civ 5 that actually feels like the game is different in and of itself. The game feels different enough to purchase it. I'm glad I purchased it. I'm not saying I'm not, I wish I never purchased it, but I don't think they added enough features to really make it feel like a different game to me. In fact, I really prefer Civ 5 to this game. Not really because of the virtue system. I really like the new virtue system a lot better than Civ 5. Leaps and bounds better, to be honest. But I liked Civ 5 because it had countries I knew, and it had units that I knew, and there's a familiarity, if you know anything about history, with the units that it uses and things like that, and the capability of these units, and your expectations behind what this unit is and what it does, right? I do like the upgrade system of Beyond Earth, because the upgrade system in previous Civs has been kind of a pain in the ass, really. Yeah, you use gold to upgrade units, that's great, but it's like, I never felt like I had enough gold to really upgrade my units in the previous Civ games, and I would end up with a hodgepodge army, or just really creating new units, which is really hampers your army. I think in my Civ 5 playthrough, which I don't think is up anymore, because I think I took it down, it was starting to get, back when YouTube was like, copywriting everything under the sun, it started getting tons of copyright hits, so I just took the whole series down. Because while I don't own the music rights to any of these games, I'm not trying to say I do. I'm not trying to make money off the music. It just happens to be part of the game. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, I can't wait to listen to that track again. Let me fire up nethervvoid's Let's Play so I can listen to the music. No, nobody's doing that. Okay, so you're not losing any money by having my video up. In fact, it's only promoting your music. It's not pulling from it, right? And then we can go on and on about that. But really what it was is I spent, my time recording these videos, setting everything up, doing all the rendering, taking the time out of my day to put this stuff up, and there is no way in hell I'm going to give someone else the ad money off that. Screw that, dude. You already got the money off the game sale. In fact, I bought your freaking game in most cases, so I gave you the money to do, This is crap, so why are you trying to take my ad money? You're just being an ass. So I just destroyed that series. It was not, plus it wasn't pulling in tons and tons of views anyway. And you know what? Even if it was, I wouldn't have been seeing any of the ad revenue. Somebody else would be seeing it. So again, why would I want to give them a revenue? They didn't record the video. It's not their commentary. It's not, they didn't, hone their commentary skill over years and years of doing this. No, they didn't. They develop games and develop music soundtracks and things like that, which I don't do. I think it's awesome that they do that, but it's a different skill set. So for them to get money off my commentary and the things I'm adding to the video, and the real reason you're watching it, was really crap, and so I took it down. Luckily, YouTube kind of backed off that super hardcore copyright matching they were doing back in the day, and a lot of people, that were really freaked out about it, kind of realized that it was YouTube figured out, or Google figured out that, hey, this is the wrong move, dude. We got to stop doing this. You know, if we keep doing this, it's going to kill this whole section of YouTube. And it definitely would. Gaming is still the biggest section of YouTube. They've said they wanted to get rid of it. They've all, you know, there was a time, I don't remember if it's back when YouTube first, or Google first took over YouTube about a year and a half ago now, but they really set their focus. Okay, I'm not doing anything again. This is weird. They really tried to reset their focus to like online movies through YouTube, or shows like with regular like sitcoms and stuff like that, right? And that's great and all. The thing is, there are better media for that kind of a show. Netflix, much better, right? It's completely set up for obvious reasons. I mean, it's obviously set up. The whole backbone of Netflix is to, you know, have you watch movies and have you watch sitcoms and stuff, right? It's to have you watch series and everything. So Netflix already exists to actually do that. YouTube is not really built to do online sitcoms. That's not what it's built for. The tool sets are not really for that. I don't know what I'm doing here. What do I do? Go to the bathroom or something? Anyway, you're not seeing that in the video. There's a part in the video where I just like there we go. The cursor comes back in now. I think I was looking something up. That's probably what I was doing. And actually, I think I'm talking about that way after the fact. But anyway, back to my discussion. You know, so for a while, YouTube was like or Google via YouTube was trying to shift away from gaming because, you know, quote unquote, gaming's for kids. That's really what the execs were thinking, because most execs of today didn't really grow up with video games. You know, most of the execs that I know are like 50s and 60s. They're in their 50s and 60s. If you think about that, when they were, let's say 15, if the guy's 60 now, that's what, 45 years ago. 45 years ago was about 1970, and there were no video games in 1970. There were pinball machines, which some people played, but there was no Atari. There was no Nintendo yet. Games were not a big thing yet. Games were not something kids were playing. In 10 to 15 years, we'll start to see executives running companies who actually grew up when video games became a thing that kids did. So they're going to see the huge potential that gamers bring to the table. A lot of them are already seeing that. Like YouTube and Google finally thought, okay, we're stupid. Our biggest channels are gaming channels. Why are we shooting ourselves in the foot here? PewDiePie, biggest YouTuber by a lot, does video games. That's all he does. He just plays video games all the time. So for them to try to downplay or try to, in a way, make gaming YouTubers like secondhand citizens was really stupid, because this is like their moneymaker. Why would you do this? Why would you kill off your cash cow? I've been at a company where they did that. Our cash cow was something not sexy, very boring, converting paper manuals to digital. Back in the early 90s, or late 90s, there was a big push, and there still is, I guess, but I'm sure it's died down a lot, to convert a lot of paper stuff to digital, because digital stuff was kind of new, and it was a lot cheaper. PDF was like kind of the way to go, and you know, sending out documents digitally instead of actually mailing out huge paper manuals was really the way to go. For what I was doing specifically, I was working at Boeing. Our technicians and stuff that were repairing aircraft were doing it with computer terminals and stuff. They weren't using books as much anymore, right? They wouldn't just pull up to the plane with a freaking book, you know. Why don't you just pull up with a tablet? Now you got all the books on it, right? You got every book under the sun. So just walk up with a tablet and scroll through it, right? Like you would read an e-book. So anyway, not a sexy thing, not a big thing. We did tech writing as well. Again, not very sexy, been around a long time. But what was new back then was document repositories. That was the new thing, man. That was so cool. And, you know, your company sends us all their documents. We convert them all and then store them for you in this big document repository. You pay us like a monthly fee for access. We keep the servers running, things like that. That was a big deal back in the late 90s, early 2000s, right? So what now? Okay, we were primed to get in that market. We already converted paper documents to digital. We had the staff on hand to run servers and things like that. We could easily do this whole document repository thing. That's great. Here's the thing that they did wrong, and this is what YouTube did too. They're not mutually exclusive. You can do the non-sexy stuff that's making you money all the time, that's your cash cow. At the same time, you bring on new
No
stuff.
village was ever ruined by trade.
It doesn't work as well with like a YouTube channel because I can only have one set of consumers. My consumers see everything I have. They don't just see their own thing they want to see. They see everything. They might not click on the new stuff, but they see everything that comes out. But when you're in a business selling products, the clients you sell to already like that product. And in fact, a lot of our clients probably might be interested in this document repository because they obviously have documents. We're converting them already, right? So instead of spinning up a second product line or something like that, or some kind of new product initiative, they killed off the cash cow to take all the resources and put it on this new product, sexy product line they wanted to go after, right? That's what killed them. So what they did is risked the whole, because the way Boeing works, and I don't know if it works this way anymore. This is like 10 or more years ago. Is a lot of parts of Boeing have to operate on their own. They have to be autonomous. They have to make more money than they spend. They can't be, have too much overhead, those kind of things, because Mother Boeing is not going to support them. Okay, Mother Boeing is like the guys who say, okay, yes, start this company. Okay, no, sell that company. They're like a conglomerate in a sense. For non-airline stuff, we're talking like we were non-airline. So what happened is we needed some time to get off the launch pad, right? We didn't know when that was going to happen. We thought we knew. We thought we had some clients lined up. A client or two falls through. We don't have any revenue coming in. We go in the red because we killed the cash cow. And the company goes under. Everybody gets laid off. Really, guys? Come on, I thought you were business guys. Guys running the company didn't know a thing about business, apparently. And it was really sucked. I mean, I didn't know enough at the time to really help. I was like 22 to 24. I didn't know anything about business. I knew what I was good at, but I didn't know business very well. But these guys, were in their 40s and 50s, 60s, some of them. It's like, dude, you guys have been in business forever. Don't you know how this works? Apparently not. So here's, and I know you're seeing this too late, but when I fired on that cruiser against that Prophet or whatever that armored warfare tank thing was, it was pretty awesome. Combat rover. Yeah, so I know now that the purple guy has really bad tech. He's pretty behind in tech. And that's kind of interesting too. The different way that this civ works than other civs is you don't really get unit upgrades in a sense from the tech tree.
Excuse me,
and that's kind of why I don't really know what to do with the tech tree, because I'm going for a military victory. It's harder for me to see the benefits in the tech tree for me personally, right? If I was going for a science victory, it'd be easy. Go after everything that has science. Okay, beeline for that stuff. There are some units that are specific to, like, I'm going after supremacy, so I will go after some supremacy units, and they are in the tech tree, and people have talked about them. But it's not clear from the stats and from the tech tree itself that these units are superior to what I have now. It's not obvious, right? Especially since the standard units I'm using now are upgraded throughout their history for free. So, like I got the CNDR, which is a supremacy unit, and I looked at the upgrade I already had, the Prophet, and I was like, okay, the Prophet's better, and it's a standard unit. I kind of think any specialized unit should always be better than a standard unit, right? The one thing that is better that somebody had pointed out was CNDRs, which I kind of already am using mine that way, are really for defense, because later in their upgrade process, they get, like, I think across the board, they get bonuses to defense. So what you really want to do is just pop them in a city and leave them there because they can defend. Wait, that's okay, but it's not blatantly obvious. Like, it should say, if it's mainly going to be a defense unit, they should say a defensive unit or something like that to let me know. I don't want to have to analyze the frickin' unit to figure out its role at a most basic level. I want to figure out how to use it to the best advantage, right? But I don't want to have to basically go through a couple games to figure out, oh, that's what this unit's good for, right? and I guess I can kind of see that when I look down the upgrade path, but when I'm playing a game and not recording, it's easier for me to do that. When I'm playing a game and recording, it's a little bit harder to process that stuff. It shouldn't be that hard, but it is. So there's really no way around that. It just unfortunately is that way for me. I think other people can do it. I cannot do it very well. And I might as well not even look at the map anymore, or the video, because I'm sure it's so far behind. It doesn't really matter. Luckily, I have picked up a skill, going back to a previous conversation, picked up a skill where I can just start talking about, I can start talking about a topic, and I don't need anybody here to talk with me about it. I don't need visuals. I can just start talking to myself, basically. So I can put audio over this video. Now, 2 years ago, this would have been a horrible video because my commentary, I couldn't just commentate and not. I needed more help. I needed the game, kind of, because I needed to be able to talk about what was going on. Now I can just ramble forever, which is much to my friend's chagrin, because I do it a lot now. But it really does have its place when you have like videos like this where I can't really talk about what's going on because the timing is already off, and the video's kind of doing it again a little bit. I can feel it jumping around, which is really unfortunate. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do? It's better having this than having no audio. You know, that would suck. Also, tell me what you think about having this kind of audio over a Let's Play, where I kind of don't even talk about the game. You can see what's going on. I don't really need to talk about it. The only thing you don't know, which I could probably talk about, is like my overall strategy for things. So, also, somebody asked me what my strategy is for the island city. And my strategy is that I'm going to build a bunch of missile rovers and just surround the thing and keep them all out of bombardment range and move them all in at once. They'll be able to hit one of them, and I should be able to hit them with like 8 of those dudes and knock it out, and hopefully do an amphibious assault within a turn or two and take it over. I don't know how amphibious assaults work in this game because there are no quote-unquote amphibious units like there are in previous civs like Marines, for this very reason, actually. So it's going to be interesting how that goes. I'm not sure if they're going to convert and actually fight like a land unit, or if I'm going to get the crap stats of the landing craft, or I'm not really sure how that's going to work, so we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for putting that miasma repulsor in there. That's really awesome. You're probably seeing this after the fact too, but enemy put that in and let me move some troops in there. That's kind of cool. So, how long is this video anyway? I'm looking. It is not telling me. It's 169 gigs. The raw video is, but how long is this thing, dude? That's what she said. 32 minutes 24 seconds. So I'm gonna watch the Audacity here, and I'll know when it's kind of coming time to shut this sucker down. So it's really unfortunate that I can't use my Navy to help me with this fight, but also in a sense I can't lean on my Navy, and really with Archipelago, I'm probably saying that wrong again, I know somebody pointed that out, but I bet you that this Archipelago thing puts the computer at a disadvantage. Picking domination only already puts the computer, I think, at a disadvantage. Somebody was also saying though that it actually doesn't, and the computer will recalculate how it's going to win based on what you've chosen for the the victory conditions. That when you turn one of them off, that the computer will not go after it. So I'm also wondering though, if you turn those off, when the computer picks, like, because it can pick its own custom traits, I think, will it pick stuff that is for war, or will it pick stuff that's like for a science victory? You know what I mean? Which, even if they do pick science stuff, you can't really say it's for a science victory, because what if they just want to be really advanced and they want to get this stuff fast? You know, that's how they're going to have an advantage over you. That they don't need a science victory for that. Maybe they're just trying to get all the affinities really quick and get their units upgraded and stomp you with them. You know, that's one approach, and that has nothing to do with really a scientific victory, quote unquote. It's still a military victory. But anyway, I am actually starting to run out of things to talk about. So I think I'll be able to crush that guy with that missile attack, really, that artillery attack. So somebody was also saying that later in the game, and I need to check out which unit does this, I should be able to get a unit that has 3 range, a 3-tile range, which means I can sit outside of city bombardment range and bomb the crap out of cities, which is cool. Again, please let me know if you know how to get my cities out of this crap that they're in right here, where they're where's the thing that says, you know, that this city is pissed off and they're gonna, you know, this X amount more turns and this city will, you know, not be pissed anymore and you can actually build things there. The game doesn't tell you. Really bad UI. This UI is really, it feels like it's about like a Civ 2 UI probably, and even Civ 2 had a better UI than this. There's key information missing is why this is, the UI feels like it's bad. I really like that Terrascape graphic that looks kind of neat with like the lakes and things like that. It's kind of cool. So I really need to go up the might tree on virtues. I don't have a lot into might, and for someone who's going for a military victory, I really need to go up that tree. I think mainly because I need to get the 50% reduction to unit maintenance, because my army's getting pretty big and it's just going to get bigger, and I'm going to run out of energy. I mean, as far as per turn energy, I know right now I have like 6,000, so I'm not going to run out for a long time. But per turn energy is pretty bad. Also, people are saying, you know, why don't you spend some of your money and buy some buildings? The only problem is I'm building buildings faster than I can really research tech. So maybe what I need to do is get more science, because I'm running out of buildings to build. And if that's the case, buying the buildings is not going to help me there. I really should be attacking more people probably right now. But I really wanted to get this first war under my belt, secure my continent, so I could feel more safe to attack other civilizations. And now I'm going to attack that orange guy to my left next. Take him over, and then a yellow guy probably to my right. Although the yellow guy, actually probably the French dude, the white in, north of me, they're probably a little bit more where I need to go after next, because they're so close. I'm not really feeling threatened by anybody. Nobody has attacked me. A lot of people are saying really to get people to attack you, you need to bump up the difficulty level. Again, I only play through these games once, so it's really hard to know what difficulty level I should use to make the game difficult enough so that it's interesting, but not so difficult that I have to keep restarting, because I keep dying on turn 50 because I get an early rush and I'm dead. I know for this, I put it on normal, which I thought with most Civ games, especially if I haven't played them before, should be a good difficulty for me, and should be something where I'm having a hard enough time that it's interesting. But I know I played Endless Legend on easy, which was way too easy. I played Endless Space on normal, and I got my butt kicked. So that's why I felt like with Amplitude Studios games, I really should start on easy probably, since it's the first and only playthrough. I don't really know the game. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. It probably went over. It's actually over by 20 minutes or 20 seconds, it looks like. And let me know what you think about this video. And as always, guys, stay frosty.